Hi everyone, it's Joey Remini here from seekingbalance.com.au. I've got another really great question. It's on when do we hold labels lightly? So I can't even begin to tell you how many different thousands of diagnoses I have seen walk through my door. This particular question is talking about neck, cervical spine instability, but there are all sorts of diagnoses, including neurodivergent, various labels and um, autoimmune conditions, all sorts of different labels. And I think it's important to understand that as health professionals and doctors, together we are sending each other documentation so that we can communicate what we're seeing in client visits. I always say that labels, particularly medical labels, are for doctors and health professionals because it's like code, because it's really hard to summarize an entire human and all that that human is. We need words and labels that just sort of help categorize and box things. So it's really a linguistic necessity. So I would actually say hold all labels lightly because you will find that different doctors will give you different labels. It's very confusing because so much of it is subjective. It depends on how you present on the day. It depends on so many things. We can also grow out of labels and into labels, right? So, hold all labels lightly. However, this is a great question because the question goes on to say, I've been trying brain retraining and doing nervous system work. I'm doing trauma healing. I'm working with the mind-body system. I'm into somatics. I've been doing it all for 18 months and I still have pain and weakness as well as chronic dizziness. How do I know what's working or when I need more support or whatever? I think you know that you've arrived where you need to arrive because whatever you feel makes sense to you and you experience a kind of inner peace. That doesn't mean you have perfect, excellent health, right? But it means that you get to this place of feeling like I've done everything I can. I've seen every doctor or health professional that I feel called to see. And I feel like I'm starting to create my own story and make sense of what I feel. That's what it's about. So when your body sensations make sense to you, you make sense to you, you feel well-being. A simple example. If you go on a marathon and for the next day or two or week, you have, hip pain or leg pain or exhaustion, that probably makes sense to you, right? Because you know you have just raced a marathon and put your body through this extreme event, and then it makes sense that you have a period of recovery and some pain. So there's no many questions. Actually, going back to my university days, and there's a heavy alcohol culture in those days, more than 20 years ago. Um, and I remember seeing people, drink themselves silly and the next day being quite hungover. But they were so happy. They kind of enjoyed their hangover. It was like they were proud of their hangover because that had context. Whereas those kind of hangover feelings, which are like the brain fog and the dizziness, they are exactly the sensations that my clients resist and hate and don't like and don't enjoy. So it's about making sense of sensations. And I feel like also having a sense of agency in that I know what to do about these sensations. So if we think about the marathon and the alcohol, to a certain extent, they can just stop running a marathon or stop drinking alcohol. There's agency. So that's what we're looking for when it comes to our body. So first of all, the story you tell yourself about your body, including labels, really impacts your nervous system. So you need to make sure that however you're talking about your body and however you're in relationship with your body, feels good to you, feels nourishing to you. You don't want to have a story that puts you into a place of being belittled, made to feel small, made to feel weak, made to feel sick, made to feel, anything except your beautiful divine self. Um, I think a lot of people get stuck in this idea of entitlement to perfect health when realistically all humans experience health difficulties. And at no point do we need to lose our sense of self-worth, self-esteem, or even well-being as we're navigating significant health challenges. So, as we go through perimenopause and menopause, a woman's body at the cellular level is experiencing tremendous change. So it makes a lot of sense for a woman aged between like 40 and 55, or even 40 and 60. It's a pretty big window. But certainly around that age of 50, to have a number of years of feeling tremendous changes, which could include fatigue and exhaustion and brain fog and dizziness and memory issues. And her body is going through normal, healthy, cyclical changes. So, a woman who understands this and has a healthy relationship with those changes, she won't be seeking as many doctors or seeking as many answers, because she will understand, I am going through a cyclical change that may last a good 7 years, and I am going to have to be gentle with myself and my body as my entire system goes through a huge hormonal and neurological shift. So it's about the relationship of making time for that cycle. So I hope that this is helping clarify a little bit that all labels, I think, need to be held lightly. It's more about you as a whole person. Where do you want to be? How do you get nourish yourself? How do you access pleasure and relaxation every single day so that your system can rest, relax, and expand? Are you accessing your dreams, your inner visions, your desires? These are all absolutely essential parts of our health and well-being. So it's so, so, so much more than a label or a diagnosis. We can be holding a lot of stress, for example, around the head, neck, and shoulders. And so learning to understand what's inside that fear cycle or that stress cycle is more likely to offer release than simply focusing on a medical label. So there's kind of like a mental, emotional, spiritual component to the physical neck pain or dizziness. So the Rocksteady program is a really, really comprehensive and useful community, and has modules for learning how to get into those underneath layers of what is going on for me mentally, emotionally, and spiritually when I've exhausted all the medical labels, all the medical doctors, and I'm trying, and I'm stuck. So this is really profound soul work, actually. It's very unique. It's not like you can just do a cookie cutter nervous system upregulating, downregulating. It's personal, it's private, and uh, your body has the answers. Your body holds the wisdom. It's learning to tap into that wisdom of the body. And the body speaks in sensation. So the sensations that you're feeling are actually communicating some kind of intelligence to you. And like I've said in previous videos, it might not be to do with your diet. It might not be to do with your exercise. It might be to do with emotional regulation or boundary setting. It could be relational. It could be spiritual. Maybe you're cut off from your own spirituality and you need to re-engage your sense of belief, visions, dreams. This is all part of what the body is communicating. So, great question. And if you're looking for more support, visit seekingbalance.com.au and check out my Rocksteady community or my Sensing Ground community. Both have beautiful offerings and support for this kind of inquiry. Bye for now.